and scroll. Talk and scroll. Talk and
Subscribe. Hey, what's going on? This is TNS Time and Space, and I would like to welcome you to a special episode of Talk and Scroll. We are doing a reaction video. Let's get into it.
You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Black and White sports fans, we're going to be talking about Deshaun Watson, the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, formerly of the Houston Texans. Now, of course, during his time in Houston, Deshaun Watson got into some legal.
Now, I paused it right here because I want you to direct your attention to where the description says, join us and become a channel member today as we fight against woke sports. So I'm going to be referring back to that, but let's continue.
Issues, not criminal charges, but he does have 22 civil lawsuits.
I also want to reiterate that there were no criminal charges filed. There have been 2 grand juries who have declined to press criminal charges against Deshaun Watson
Pending against him. And Deshaun Watson gave deposition last week, and we're going to be talking a little bit about what he said in his deposition here. Now, the NFL, they have not suspended him. He got all of his money last season, even though he didn't play.
Also, I want to point out that he lost a year of his career. So obviously this channel is anti-Deshaun Watson, but whether he got paid or not, he still had to sit out an entire season.
It remains to be seen what will happen with Deshaun Watson for the 2022 season. And of course, Cleveland, they still have Baker Mayfield on the roster. And I'm pretty sure he wants out of Cleveland because he is not in that future, as Deshaun Watson is firmly the QB of the Browns, as he got a new record deal with the Cleveland Browns. So let's dive into this, guys. Deshaun Watson admits massage therapist cried after session. Now, the thing is, why did she cry?
That's a great question. People cry for different reasons. That in and of itself does not mean that Deshaun Watson should be civilly liable, but let's continue.
Deshaun Watson doesn't really seem to have a clue. However, this massage therapist actually said that Deshaun Watson was pretty much, I'm trying to clean this up here for YouTube, trying to use his package and rub it on her, if that makes sense. So it's a he said, she said kind of thing. But let's read this. Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson admitted in a pretrial deposition last week to sending an apologetic text to a massage therapist after she cried when their session ended, according to USA Today. Watson currently faces 22 civil lawsuits filed by massage therapists accusing the quarterback of harassment and other stuff that occurred during sessions from early 2020 to March of 2021.
Now, my first question for your credibility, or for any accuser's credibility, why not come forward sooner?
According to a partial transcript obtained by the paper, Watson said he reached out to the massage therapist after her reaction, but claimed he did not know why she cried. So,
okay, first of all, I want to ask everyone a question, especially the men. Have you ever been in a position where you were ghosted all of a sudden, or where things took a turn for the worst, or you really didn't understand why a woman reacted how she reacted? This gentleman is acting as if every man should be a mind reader, as if there's no such thing as a misunderstanding. But let's continue.
She cried. Deshaun Watson admits that, but he doesn't necessarily know why she cried. Now, according to Deshaun Watson, it's pretty much he got his massage and
I also just want to read this comment. As you know, this channel is called Talk and Scroll. So somebody said that fool should have hurried up and settled with all of them, because I'm sure a lot of dirt is about to come out with these lawsuits, and then he's going to get suspended. Actually, I believe the opposite. Deshaun Watson has been a stand-up guy in the sense of he's been more than willing and looking forward to his day in court. So I just want to point that out. And ultimately, if he had immediately offered to settle, then everyone would still be saying that he looks guilty.
she cried. Doesn't make a lot of sense. I believe something else is going on, but that's open up to discussion right there. But anyway.
And then I want to look at this comment. It says, this dude deserves that 2-year suspension on that alone. There's nothing positive about a massage therapist leaving in tears. He clearly did something. Is that so apparent? I mean, this channel says that it's supposed to be fighting against woke sports. There's nothing more woke than the believe all women movement, first and foremost, because it's not objective. It's completely emotional. But anyway, I want to play the video.
Says this quote, sorry about you feeling uncomfortable. Never were the intentions. Let me know if you want to work in the future. My apologies.
So again, he actually did reach out to try to rectify whatever the situation was. He attempted to rectify the situation. And then this person says guilty as charged. Fortunately, we don't determine that by the court of public opinion, because a lot of people would be found guilty. And then this person says, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt when accused for stuff like this. But in this case, where there is that much smoke, there is fire. Again, that's just hearsay. That's your opinion. That's fine. But let's continue.
Watson's text read per the transcript. According to USA Today, the deposition last week was on behalf of Ashley Solis, who was the first woman to file a lawsuit against Watson last year. Solis did not reply to Watson's message.
Okay, again, as men, how many times have you been ghosted before? I mean, if anything, we live in a society where darn near everybody is left on read or left on seen. And I want to point out this comment also. It says, at this point, it's she said, he said drama. I believe when there's smoke, there's fire. So Watson probably ain't 100% innocent, but I also believe in innocent until proven guilty. So if new evidence comes out that proves he was guilty, ban him from the league, throw him under the jail, etc., etc. So yeah, until actual evidence comes out, there hasn't been enough as of yet. That's why there were no criminal charges filed.
Per the lawsuit. In the deposition, the woman's attorney, Tony Busby, asked Watson, quote, but you know why you sent that text apology afterwards, ? Watson reportedly replied, yes, because she was teary-eyed, and I was trying to figure out what was going on. So I assumed that she was uncomfortable in whatever reason. And we talked about working in the future. And so I said, we can work in the future.
Now, someone actually pointed out, they said he's definitely, or not definitely, or perhaps he's not 100% innocent. But this comment, I actually scrolled past it. It said that they have a hard time believing he violated 22 plus women. I mean, after the first couple, wouldn't word have gotten around the masseuse community that he was a client to avoid? Exactly. We live in a world where we're interconnected. Word gets around fast if that were truly the case.
Just let me know. And then I sent my apologies as for whatever reason she was.
I want to read this comment too. It says, I think this could be a colossal misunderstanding. Deshaun could have been adjusting himself like men do. The lady could misinterpret that as trying to make a move on her. Started, then Deshaun tried to console her and it got worse from there. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong at the moment. But at the moment, that's what I think happened. That's entirely feasible. And this is supposed to be such a fight against woke sports. What about being objective then? That certainly is within the realm of possibility. And when he went to reach out to address the situation, she didn't respond.
was teary-eyed for. Watson's alleged encounter with Celeste occurred on March.
Okay, now again, this person points out a moral argument, but there's nothing illegal about this. He says the team supplies free massage therapists and he, for some reason, needs 45 of them. Again, that can look shady. That's fine. If you believe that you wouldn't do that, that's fine, but that doesn't mean that it's criminal. It doesn't mean that something makes him civilly liable. It doesn't mean that. You can say it looks sketchy. That's fine. That's certainly your opinion, but let's move on.
30th, 2020, in her Houston area home.
Okay, first of all, this one is far-fetched to say the least. The power of the NFL made sure nothing was done criminally to Watson. This makes the entire situation look so much worse. He didn't know why she was crying. BS. Are you a mind reader? I would ask the person that made that comment, are you a mind reader? And do you profess to understand the deep inner mysteries of all women? So, and also the NFL didn't do anything to make sure he wasn't criminally charged. The NFL actually, more so than an organization like the NBA, for example, with the NFL, they're 53-man rosters. The NFL would move on. You know what I mean? If it was a matter of protection, then why did Aaron Hernandez end up going to prison if the NFL is going to go out of their way to protect players from any sort of criminal charges?
Watson has other pre-trial depositions scheduled for June, but it is not expected to go to trial with any of the 22 lawsuits until after February, according to a reported deal between the plaintiffs and defense attorneys. Now, I believe the reason why it actually got pushed until.
Now, I just want to read this comment too. It says, I'll tell you what's going to happen. He will pay out those suits and move on with his life. Actually, he's already had the option to do that, but he's declined because Deshaun Watson is committed to proving his innocence.
February, I believe that Watson's lawyers actually made the claim that, oh, he's working in Cleveland now. He's not going to be available to go to Houston. And I guess that's the reason why, because what happens in February? The Super Bowl. That officially ends the NFL season. So,
okay, that actually is inaccurate because both sides agreed to push the suits until March of 2023. That was a mutual agreement as far as I know. So someone says, how many women accused this guy again? Right. So all you need is a certain number of women. So for that commenter, I would say, what if you were in a prominent position and you had utilized massage therapist? Now, before you jump on a moral high horse about how you would never do it, let's just for the sake of argument say you did employ masseuses and then they all got together to accuse you. Do you believe that you should be convicted just by the sheer number of accusers? I didn't think so.
after that, he has time for these lawsuits. This thing has been going on quite a long time now, folks. And Roger Goodell hasn't really spoken on this. And the Browns actually have a bit of protection in case Deshaun Watson actually does get suspended. And it even says here, Browns traded for Watson and signed the former Texans quarterback to a record 5-year, fully guaranteed $230 million contract. But if Watson gets suspended, only his base salary is what he doesn't get. So
I've actually heard a lot of people complain about the structure of Deshaun Watson's contract. Ultimately, that's a matter of business. The Cleveland Browns have been a struggling franchise, and they did what they had to do to secure a top-level talent. So that's what I believe it has more to do with. And nothing was going on until the grand juries declined to press criminal charges. So as far as the Browns are concerned, as long as there were no criminal charges forthcoming, they decided to move forward with business.
I believe they lowered his base salary in case he actually is suspended by the NFL. But what do you guys think of this? What do you guys make of Deshaun Watson admitting that this lady left their session in tears? Why was she crying? What do you guys actually think is the reason why she was crying?
I'll go ahead and answer that. There was obviously some sort of misunderstanding. He tried to address the misunderstanding via text, and she didn't provide any insight as to what happened. And this never came to light until a year or two later. That's what happened. So if you dislike Deshaun Watson, you are going to use this as, falling susceptible to confirmation bias. If you already have it set in your mind that Deshaun Watson is guilty, then this will be evidence of that. As for myself, I've covered this. He's been pretty consistent, though, in saying that he wants to prove his innocence. He's looking forward to his day in court. And I don't know why the woman cried, but that doesn't automatically make him guilty.
Now, I've already told you why she thinks that she was actually crying, because something inappropriate was going on. But Deshaun Watson was like, I don't really know why. He doesn't know what he did, so he says.
So she says that something happened. Again, why did it take a year or two for this to come to light?
There is more to this, guys. I believe there's definitely more to this.
There is more to it, but not just in regards to Deshaun Watson.
I mean, a masseuse just doesn't leave a massage session and cries. Leaves.
Obviously, this guy has never had the misfortune of having a misunderstanding with a woman, and he's never been ghosted without explanation. Good for him, because it's happened to everybody else. I can pretty much assure you of that.
In tears. That's very, very unusual. Something else definitely was going down. It's pretty much, her word against his word now at this point. But that's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans.
Okay, I just want to sum this up by saying that this particular channel says that they are in a fight against woke sports, but this entire situation is as woke as it could possibly be. I mean, what is more woke than Believe All Women? Believe All Women is the most woke agenda that I can think of, to be honest, because it's throwing out objectivity and saying that, well, where there's smoke, there's fire. If there's a certain number of accusers, whether they're credible or not, we're going to believe the sheer numbers. But anyway, this has been another episode of Talk and Scroll. Y'all take it easy.
Talk and scroll. Talk and scroll.
Two,